We're plugged in, 36 grit wheel. I'll come show you. All right, well, we're gonna spray that with the self-etching, all of this. Before we do, we'll mask this off with the regular masking tape. We'll take this off, and I can clean this up with steel wool. This is only aluminum. And paint black flat back in here. That's not a problem. But we're gonna mask this stuff off now so we can get the self-etching primer on all this area, and then we're gonna mix up a little Bondo and do this. So we'll come back on the video when I get this all masked, all the masking tape in place. I'm gonna show you, I'm using the 320 paper by hand here, and you can see the shininess coming out. I'm trying to feather that in as much as I can, and I'm going over all these spots and this whole area. Since I've got enough of the self-etching primer, I can just hit the whole panel. I don't have to worry about cutting corners on the paint. This one, same way, we'll take that off there. I haven't done this yet as far as this paper here is concerned. We're just going to sand all this, clean it down real good, and mask it off. So we'll do this off camera, as I've been hitting this a little bit before I turn the camera back on here. So all we'll do is we'll hit the self-etching primer on the whole thing, since, like I say, I've got a new can of it. But we'll finish this off the camera. But because of this rust here, as I keep saying, we can't put the Bondo on that. We probably could, but I feel a little better if I can get the self-etching primer on it, only because of these areas here that I can't get rid of this rust. It just polishes it up. And it don't matter whether I use the 36 or the 60. It don't matter whether I use a wire wheel. I have better luck using these to get the rust out, but it only does so much. And if I was to cut all this out, it would be so lumpy and bumpy. You know, areas like this here, yes, I just cut it out and put sheet metal in, bang it and form it and everything else. But on here, you got to use pop rivets, and you got a raised portion. If you try to bang the pop rivets in, you got this business on the, you know. This way, at least this way, it's smooth. And by the time that rusts out again, if it ever does, I'll be long dead. Alright. We're shaking up the new can of self-etching primer, and I've still got a little bit of this left. So we'll use the old first, but I want to get this ready. We're going to put the gray self-etching primer on the top and the bottom. And then we're going to, after the gray primer dries, we're going to hit it with the white, the van paint, which will probably do me in again. And when we get a couple of coats on that, then we'll worry about the bottom. And I might even try to put a second coat of gray on the rest of the van. I don't know yet. See how much time we got, because I cannot start down at the end down there. At that corner, that's a separate day, separate project and everything else. And I still got to work on the inside. The main thing is that I got to get this door taken care of, and that goes for the bottom part too, underneath. Alright, I think we're ready. Use the this one first. Try it down here in case it sputters. Ooh. Okay. Ooh, that stuff's strong too. All right. Just use a light coat. Ooh. That's it. Okay, before I do any more now, I got to do a little bit of Bondo here because this is rough. You can probably see that. This here is pretty smooth. This here too. So all this needs is just paint. Everything gets painted, but this gets a little bit of Bondo into here. So I got to mix up just a wee bit of Bondo. All right. Can't get you in as close as I'd like to have you in there, but I'm working down in this area, so you may or may not be able to see me too good, but you've seen me do this before. Now I'm only going to put a light coating on that. Matter of fact, I'm going to have to kneel down, and this is going to kill my back. See, when I can sit on the stool if I'm working here, this is fine, but this is too low and I'm hunching over. So since I'm hunching over, I can move the camera over here. So see what I do for you folks? I go out of my way for you folks. Okay, all kidding aside now. We're going to mix up some Bondo. I'm only going to do a tiny bit. We only got this area about probably 5 inches by about 2 inches. So we're only mixing up just a little bit. Just a wee bit. So little. It is so little that I might have to make another one. Now, on the previous videos, if you watched them, you will see that I was having a hard time sanding it. You really need to put another coat, a light coat of Bondo on that. I just was damn lazy and didn't feel like doing it. The simple reason is I like to get my jobs done quick, because I have to work. Tomorrow it's going to rain, so I got to do something today, and who knows when I'm going to get good weather again to do this. I already needed this off camera. Now we're just going to put a tiny bit in here. We got just a wee bit, so we're going to... I would say probably that much. And, oh, I didn't get my spatula out. This ain't the newest one. I wasn't ready. This stuff will harden up on me before I even get to find a spatula. The spreader, I should say. And I told you how I mix it. It's basically just to cover up the pothole, the pits. That's it. And I won't touch it, I just put that on there, but that just covers up the pits that was in there. This is just a little, that's the paint, and this was the bare metal here. I don't think we can get any more in there. Yeah, we don't want to go too crazy because we're hardening up here. That's it. We're going to start hardening up very shortly here, so we don't want to. You don't want to work with this stuff when it starts hardening up. That's not good. I think she's about ready to. And I use very little hardener in this because it's such a small amount. So it's taken a little longer from, you know, to set up, but it's a thin layer. So I have to be gentle here. I don't want to sand too soon here, you know. Just very lightly. It's never going to be smooth as glass. It might feel smooth, but I mean, if you look at it, you know, it's not going to be. Let that set a little bit more, and I'll sand that in a few minutes. Now we're going to hit it with the 320. It's getting pretty smooth. That's pretty smooth. That's pretty smooth. All right, we're going to hit that with the self-etching primer. Now, the paint that I got here, the gray that's like I had here, is supposed to be paint and primer in one, but nevertheless, we're going to hit this area with the self-etching primer. And then we're going to mask this off a little bit and do the white. It don't matter if a little bit of white goes on here because it's going to get painted gray anyways. So I'm going to do the white, and that's the one that's going to really be, the fumes are really bad on that. Worse than the self-etching primer. Can you imagine if I was doing this inside of a building? And it's a nice still day today with no breeze. And that's what you want for spray cans outside. You can't paint in a windy day. Okay, enough of that. Let's get going on this. We got the self-etching primer, and we're going to hit it. Just a quickie. Just a quickie. That's all. Now we'll concentrate on this. We'll let this dry, and then I'm going to mask this off a little bit. Put some paper just to hang down here. I'm going to hold my breath here. I always do anyways, but you know, I wouldn't hold it so long. Only a few seconds. And we shook this up quite a bit. So we'll just hit this area here. The hinge, stuff like that. And then when I'm ready to do the bottom part, I'll lift this up or put more newspaper up there or whatever, or remove this newspaper and put it down over here, whatever, no problem. We'll work with it. However, no. Okay, let that dry. Okay, it's very slightly tacky, so we hit the second coat. Come back and hit it for the third coat. And about 5 minutes later, I'm painting about every 5 minutes. This is the third coat, and it's tacky. I check on the areas where it's primed, and over here, it's very slightly tacky. We couldn't do that with the gray because the gray takes like 4 hours and it's very, very sticky. It even comes off on your fingers. This stuff dries pretty quick. Oh, ready? Okay, we'll wait about 10-15 minutes before putting the last one on. While I'm waiting for this to set up for about 10-15 minutes, I put this cardboard in to keep Sammy out and also to keep the smell of the paint fumes from going inside the van as much as possible. But I don't think I have to worry about Sammy getting into the van, and I'll show you why. Because he's right there sleeping all amongst my tools. Unbelievable. I'm still waiting for this to dry. Now, I wasn't at this time going to paint this, but this needs it, but it needs probably a scrubbing more than anything else. But I want to paint, you know, eventually get a second coat on here, and naturally when this all dries out, I want to paint this down here, the gray. But I have to do a spot here. But if I do, and I prime it, I'm going to have to probably gray this too, and that's going to be a little hard with this here. I'll never be able to make a nice cut like that. I probably could with the masking tape, but it would never be as nice straight edge like this. See how that is? I wasn't planning on doing that. I'll probably just repair this and scrub this because this is crappy. It needs like compounding or something. But you can't really do anything here because you're going to screw this up unless this is really dry. Then the powder and the grinding and everything, you know. This I found afterwards. I already started this, so we'll just put this last coat on here, and it's been about 10 minutes. Let's check in here. Oh yeah, we'll do that right now. Let's see. This is coat number 4, I think. Either 4 or 5. The first coats, first, second, and third, were done 5 minutes apart. This is about 10 or 11 minutes now. So let's just see. First of all, if I need to shoot any paint underneath the hinge. I don't think I do, but okay. You got a tiny bit of breeze that's blowing the fumes away from me. Okay. Looks good to me. I don't want to get too rambunctious because I'll have it running. Another thing too, I find that if I don't get close enough with the can, it puts like a mist on there and then it makes like a dull finish. You know, painting is an art, and that's something I'm not really good at. Passable, but you know, I never claim. That's why it's called poor man's body work. So I'm going to let this dry, and then I will take care of the gray down at the bottom. And then after that, I might, if I can manage to do it by hand or something and grind this, or I might just do this at a later date. I think I'll worry about that later, because this whole thing has got to be. It's got to be cleaned. I think after it's cleaned, I think it'll probably be looking a lot better, and it probably won't even need to paint the whole thing. But down at the bottom, of course, this takes a beating down here anyways, and this is where it will rust out more than anything else. When I did this down here, I forgot to Bondo this, and I used the rust reformer and then painted and everything. It's rough. But that's all right. All right, before I paint the gray area, this stuff dries really quick. We're going to hit one coat on the bottom edge on the rubber, because I just got the self-etching primer under there because the door is originally white, so to try to keep the door all the same color on the inside. So we're going to open this. I hope it doesn't mess up any of the paper here and cause it to hit the paint. I think we're okay. We just gotta hit this area here. See where it's all gray? We don't want it gray on the inside. We're hitting it a little heavy, but we're not going to worry about it. Just want to get the match right. Looks to me like I might have a little silicone on there, but I don't remember doing it. And the way the paint is going on in the inside. If I have silicone in there, it must have been many years ago. I don't remember doing it. You know, I think it was when the door gaskets stick in the winter time. You spray the door gaskets with silicone so that the doesn't stick with the ice. But that doesn't really work all that good, anyways. Okay, the next step is the Exo Rust paint and primer in one, the gray. That's the same stuff that I use down here. And I've got a full can of Rust-Oleum paint and primer in one also, just about the same shade of gray if I run out of this. But this is definitely, I've got about a half a can here, so that's definitely enough to do that door, and that's all I'm concerned with right now. But we got to wait for this to dry, then we can close this door. Come back on the video in 2 shakes of lamb's tail. Let's see if I can do this without having to bend over any more than I need to. This is the stuff that takes over 4 hours, almost 5 hours before the stickiness is almost completely gone. So here it is, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It'll be dark by 7 o'clock. It gets dark at 6:30. I don't know. Losing daylight like it's going out of style here. So there is no second coat on this today. And this takes several days to really harden up or cure. Too bad it didn't dry quick like the Duplicolor. It takes 2 coats to cover up these stripes that are on here. Be careful, I don't put too heavy a coat on and have it run. That looks good. Got a lot of reflections in here, and it looks like areas I didn't cover, but there's reality and reflections of these things here are showing through. Alright, that's it. We're not going to go crazy. We got a fairly good heavy coat on there. Hold my breath and I'll take you over here and you can get a closer look at it. Okay, well that concludes the videos for this series of the side doors. When I go to repair this, I'm not going to even do that on video. And I'm going to try to get a rubbing compound and clean this, because this van really needs, really needs a good cleaning. And I think it was last year I got up there with a soap and water and really scrubbed the hell out of it up there, but it needs a lot of work cleaning. So the next thing is, I guess we're going to have to do that back. That'll be the next series, and that's going to be a big series. Okay, well that's the left side door all finished. And when we get back on the next series here, we're going to be, redoing this, put in whatever we have to, just a little minor stuff here, and check this area out, and then use the paint. This is not the original paint here. We use some of that white paint in here, and we'll work on this bad area in here and in this fender. That's it. Don't look too shabby, does it? I don't think it looks too shabby. Now we got to work on the next one. We got to work. So how close that is here, that's because I built this up with metal, so it's right up against the door. We'll probably have to get that down a little bit. I don't know if that's metal or whether that's just got a little too much Bondo in it. But we got this area to work on. This is good under here. We just got to work up and get this. So that's another project. That will be the next series. Thank you very much for watching. You have a good day.